Who's in the Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression to stand up for a minute. These are people who've been supportive of Mark for the longest, and others in this room. But you know, Mark doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's because people care. Mark, could you come up? I'm going to read my little statement here that I wrote about Mark. I'm not good at layup. I always envied Mark because he is. But I wanted to say about him. It is with pleasure that I present to you Mark Clements as a recipient of the Hani Lozano Award. I met Mark about 30 years ago in a place not far from here, which was structured to be isolated from society. That place was Joliet Correctional Center. I worked as a librarian at the prison. Mark was a frequent visitor in the library. He was always polite and respectful to library rules. He especially liked the book discussion session. He later told me his remembrance of discussing In the Belly of the Beast by Jack Henry Abbott. I once recalled Mark discussing his case with me. He insisted he was innocent and mocked the prosecutor's characterization of him as retarded. Upon reflection, I think among Mark's contribution in the fight for and youth incarcerated in prisons and detention centers was his refusal to allow the system to define him. He left prison with his humanity intact. He left prison caring for others. At the Troy Davis vigil, as we unsuccessfully petitioned the state of Georgia to stay Troy's execution, Mark stoutly stated, "I take this personally. For the benighted rogue elements in the criminal justice system, like John Burge, Mark's taking things personally has been among their worst nightmares." Will you join me in applauding Mark Clements?
Thank you, and I'm very honored to be here. First of all, we are a people. We are a people that settled for less in tortures. We are a people that remain to settle for less within our criminal justice. It feels like we cannot win. I beg to differ. I'm 16 years old. All I know, I didn't commit the crime. I was told to shut up, sit down, as my prosecutor labeled me as someone that I was not. Having a public defender, matter of fact, two of them. One with 2 years of experience, the other one with 3 years of experience. Never did the first elementary of what it requires in legally representing someone. They never even investigated the case. So as a result, I don't blame the Chicago Board of Education. I didn't go to school. And as a result of not going to school, I suffered. What most people need to understand here in this room, as we face now a whole new episode of tortures in different fashions and ways. where now we're dealing with 2 men being found hung in Area 2 violent crimes. I want answers. Many of you have seen me on the television. It ain't about me. It's personal, as Mr. Shelby Richardson pointed out. My wife here, she wonders why I don't stay home. It's personal. And it's minded people within our criminal justice system can lock up a child. It should wake everyone up in this room that they will frame you, and you. That's what happened to me. Being someone that was blessed to go down to Atlanta, Georgia, met with racism, told that the very areas that were squares when I was in a police station, that they would cut it off and stick it in my mouth, that turned it into a whole different personal level in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not running from these people. If anyone, whether it's a police officer, and I tell them frequently, if you want to shoot me, I'm tired. It's not tired for dealing with life. It's tired because the issues out here require all of them for my own family. Because I'm trying to deal with other people's situations. And that's very difficult. I ask that each and every one of you support what I'm trying to do. Mark Clements out. I'm trying to get your loved ones home. I'm trying to bring home these individuals that now over at the National Alliance, we get letters this tall. As administrator for the campaign to end the death penalty, I get letters this tall. And what makes me wonder is, when will this end? We're dealing with women that are being victimized inside of our criminal justice system. I want answers. Pepe was one of the first writers to step up and to help me and to give me a voice. If it was not for the People's Weekly World, Mark Clements would not probably have had a voice outside of those walls. It was Shelby Richardson who had to deal with a Mark Clements. Because let me tell you, when I saw that the conditions was unfair, and especially in feeding me, Shelby, I'll let you know, there was a food strike. Someone had to pay the consequences. I was locked in SEG. I was the one that was mistreated. Please stand with me. And even as I leave here today to research about inside of their jail cells, if you believe that there's a room, 6 a.m., people say, oh, he's nuts. 6 a.m., 3510 South Michigan, I'm going to be there. I don't know these people, but as Dr. King stated, that wherever injustice is, he said, I'm going to be there. That's what I want to do. I'm not walking after Dr. King's footsteps. I'm walking after Mark Clements' footsteps. Please help me. In closing, one more thing. Juveniles locked up inside a prison for the rest of their lives. I was given 4 counts of natural life, told I will never get out of prison, that I would die there. I know I'm loud. That's me. Ask my wife. I was told that I would die there. Want me to tell you, I've met many young youth in this area. We are a people need to find some compassion in our hearts and to give these children a second opportunity. Why in the world should a child that is 14 and 15 years old, yeah, they did some pretty bad things, but now they're 40 years old and still can't get out of prison? I have a problem with that. Our society is the most violent, corrupt, evil society that I've ever witnessed in my life, right here. I thank Danny Davis for the legislation to bring forth about the Chicago police tortures. If it wasn't for Danny doing it, guess what? It wouldn't have got done. I thank him.
Mark wants answers, and so do we. I hope that people see Mark at the end. I saw him passing out some information earlier. I know he has some, and I know the people's world will look into that. Absolutely. So thank you, Mark. Thank you for continuing to fight. And thank you, National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression as well. This brings us to the end